Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Connor in Guam, and before we get started with some movement, I just want to share a little writing, and I can share the image from a new book that I'm finding quite inspiring called The Story of Every Flower by Carrie Schmitt. She's an artist in the Seattle area, and I discovered her from an article online. And so I want you to take these words into your body, and I'll read it through twice, and I'll read it at the end of the video to remind you of your beauty. You have never, not even for 1 second, been anything less than beautiful. Take these words into every cell in your being until you embody this truth. The world needs you to honor and love yourself. You don't have gifts. You are the gift. So again, I'll read it one more time, and I'll also read it at the end. You have never, not even for 1 second, been anything less than beautiful. Take these words into every cell in your being until you embody this truth. The world needs you to honor and love yourself. You don't have gifts. You are the gift. And here is her image that goes with the word. It was painted in 2019 called Unbroken Wholeness. So I thought I would come live to you today as we're in this third wave, fourth wave, excuse me. I mean, maybe where you are it's even more, but I feel like in Guam it's really the fourth wave of the virus. And if you're anything like me, I'm a very high-touch person, and so I've hardly had massages during this time, and for a while when I had my massage therapist on the island, I was getting them like every other week. So it's sort of heartbreaking to miss out on something that was so valuable in my life. I have other things I do, but of course being touched by another is so special. And at the same time, touch is one of those mutual experiences, and we want it to be so mutual. So I think a lot of us have been feeling quite touch deprived in this pandemic. Fortunately, I have a husband and I have 2 cats, so there are ways I can receive touch, and yet for me personally it still has not felt like enough. So I want to revisit that theme of body appreciation that I've done alive before, but I'd like to appreciate it again today. So I think if we just start to warm up the body with some movement, some touch and movement, that's the easiest way to start getting into, how we like touch in the body. Sometimes it's nice to just tap lightly as we wake up the body. And I'm aware that there's parts that are harder to touch, especially a region in our back where maybe it's difficult to reach it, the arms up or the arms behind. That's why it's nice to have balls or other things to touch our body with and roll on. So as we, whatever way works for you, like for instance, some of you might be in the cold, so you might want to just warm up the hands and then bring them to body areas and just let those places receive the touch. I'm going to try not to go too fast, but at the same time, you know, I don't want to make this too long for you either. So, and you might find that you want to take time later and explore this for yourself. So you can spend time just warming up the palms, just bringing them to areas that you feel really need to receive the touch right now. And I can tell you personally that just doing these little brief touches feel so good to me. They feel very yummy. And of course, this is one way to bring yourself quite a bit of pleasure. And maybe there's a place in your body right now that's been feeling a little grumpy. It's fun to use different words and not just words about pain or words about discomfort or words about concern, because sometimes there's places in our body, maybe we've had an injury in the past, and so we have concern for. So maybe we just need to bring hands to an area where we have concern. Now for me, it's also in my wrist when I broke that 3.5 years ago and had surgery twice to put the pin in, to take the pin out. So for me, I have to use my right hand to hold my left hand. And you know, when you're doing this, you might start to get images, sensations, messages, words. So you can just spend time listening to this or just experiencing this and getting more information. You know, it's all about getting more information. And my left wrist is saying to me, more. I need more of this. I need more of this. Holding, pleasure, love, support, support. I like that, support. So there's so many ways that we can touch our body. So like I could bring my arms over, say my heart here, and just feel squeezed and self-hugged here, which is nice. I like that feeling because right now I'm feeling like I can really press my fingers into my shoulders, and perhaps you've been feeling a bit of tension here, so perhaps you need to really press the hands in there and give yourself gentle massage. Sorry. And that can be another pleasurable way to give yourself touch and body part appreciation. And another thing I like doing is just stroking down in that sort of three-dimensionality of my bones. So here's my arm, and because you know we're not in straight lines, so it's nice to just stroke into that, you know, shaping, that carving, really giving that three-dimensional feeling. And movement, just moving gives us often that pleasure of touch. And as a contact improviser, I really like rolling around on the floor and feeling the pressure and touch of moving with support of the objects around me. That's why the ball is such a good place. And of course, I've done more in the upper body, but you might find that you really want to bring the hands more to the torso, places that maybe you're not so comfortable touching or holding. And that's also good information. So maybe you want to bring hands to places that you don't touch as often. Maybe the skin is colder there. I remember my yoga teacher talking about places in our body where, we tend to have, more cold in it. And, it was kind of true. Certain areas in my body in a pose would be a little bit clammy or cold. So temperature is an interesting observation. So this is just all about almost taking your temperature, physically or literally or metaphorically, in different parts of the body. And I find it so lovely just to cup my hands around places and just spend some time tuning in or holding or listening. And as you know, you could do this with so many parts of your body. Now here's another thought as you're moving through different ways of touching or holding your body, is what if you actually start to say, feel I love you. And one of the easiest ways to really open your heart and feel love is think about those in your life who you really just love unconditionally. Your children, if you have children, it could be a sibling, it could be your parents, it could be your pets. Just feel that, and since he's here, I'll use him as my prop, is just feeling that unconditional love. And of course, I'm patting him, so I'm actually getting the touch of Gandalf. And then start to bring that into your own body. Can you bring that unconditional, positive regard, unconditional love? It's always first easier to go to places that you don't have too much feeling about, you're okay with, and bringing that love and that feeling of touch. And then after a while, you can bring it to areas that you're less than happy about or pleased with, or however you want to say, discomfort, grumpy, bringing them to your grumpy places. And just bring those feelings of how, like I was petting my Gandalf, so think about that for myself. Can I give myself that attention, that love, that appreciation in that part of my body that I have just given my beloved Putty Tat Gandalf? And perhaps you want to add a little bit more movement in here. So let's just try now to bring in a full body, touching, moving, so we can feel into that wholeness, that fullness of who we are. Since I said I wasn't going to go too long, but I probably went longer than I thought. So bringing that in, maybe it's like that sensation of a warm bath, a warm shower, or maybe you like the cold shower, or a jump into the sea. I don't know, for me, water is really a great way to refresh and bless my whole body, and bringing in all that love. See if you can really bring in that fullness of love and unconditional positive regard to every cell in your body. And then I'm going to slowly finish my moving, and you can continue. In fact, I would encourage you to continue your moving while I read that quote again from Carrie Schmitt, who is an artist in the Seattle area and wrote this book, The Story of Every Flower. And this is what's currently inspiring me at the moment. So the quote is, "You have never, not even for 1 second, been anything less than beautiful. Take these words into every cell in your being until you embody this truth. The world needs you to honor and love yourself. You don't have gifts. You are the gift." And here's the picture again. And maybe you want to re-listen to me saying those words. Maybe you want to record those words for yourself and keep moving to them. So have a beautiful day or evening, and I thank you from my heart to yours for being with me on this video.